It's Thursday, July 1st, 2021. This is the update on November 565 Delta. Making progress, but this video is also to test out the new GoPro. Let me know what you think. Anyhow, so 565 Delta, we're making progress. We've got the engine is on. We're waiting on a couple bolts for the engine mounts. Two of them weren't quite up to par, and I think the threads did strip out on one of them. So we added a spin-on oil filter. So that's good. That'll be nice, you know, get the extra filtration out of the engine and be able to go 50 hours between oil changes instead of 25. Getting it all together, just a battery tender there. Battery held a charge, surprisingly. After all that time, it still held a charge, so that's a good thing. Other than that, left everything on the engine the same. Bouncing back and forth between whether we're going to do a heat muff on the exhaust for heat for the cabin, like that one there for the carb heat. We're debating whether to do one like that, you know, a little different obviously, or just go with electric heat. Got a 60 amp alternator and mostly LED lights and stuff, so we've got plenty of extra power if we want to do electric heat. Obviously fuselage on the wings. That's something new since the last video. You saw us getting it to where it's about to be set down, but got it all set down. Caulk the seams. You know, put the screws in for the belly pan thing, and put caulk in the seams. Turned out pretty good as far as the caulk goes. Caulked on the gear leg fairings. They're caulked on. But other than that, nothing new under there. So getting to where the tip tanks need to go on. I'll do a close-up for the gentleman in Indiana with the Cavalier. So, you know, they may be different on each tank, but on my tanks, the fuel tank itself actually lives inside of the tip. So you've got your wing tip, and what I commented on your video was what I would do is either right here, go and cut across, move the seat out of the way, go on and just cut across here. I don't know about yours, but mine has a inspection panel for the fuel sender and then the door for the fuel caps, but go on and cut through here and go all the way around back up to the other side, and just take the tank or the tip and split it from around the tank, and then make a new tank and put the tip back around it. And then from there you could just fiberglass the seam that you have, you know, and just fiberglass it and feather it out, make it look decent, you know, some body filler and things. It's just one idea. As far as the connections go, pretty simple. There's a fuel line that comes out of the tank, wires for fuel sender unit and the light, which we're also going to add some strobes, something I ought to talk about. Oh, that's over there. I'll show you in a minute. We're going to add some strobes on our light out in here, right behind the nav light. Anyhow, other than that, nothing's really changed with this stuff. Ailerons, we added the weights that David included. We put them on, installed them. Just a couple bolts there. They're lead weights. Should help to get rid of flutter. Oh, as far as the other side, the tanks go in, and then we have fuel pumps on each wing. That isn't exactly usually standard, but we have a fuel pump on each wing, and see that up there, the fuel line just hooks up to the fuel pump. Yours will probably just have a hard line, but hooked the wires for the fuel pump back up, put connectors on all the wires that go out, put connectors on the wingtip, got to ring them out still and label them. Got the tail feathers on. The rudder is all rigged and everything, tensioned with the springs and whatnot, so it's going to work good. The elevator is good. Tested the trim servo, make sure we knew our wiring on that. Put a new light in here. The lens that was on there was broken. I had one, so I just put that one in, and LED bulb that I had, an older airplane or different airplane. You can see we got clamped up the fairing there for the caulk that holds it together. Same deal here, put the aileron counterweight on. The other thing we did that's different is, let me get a flashlight. We added, it's a little bright, isn't it? Hold on. Yeah, it's a little better. We added aileron or elevator stops. So we got one elevator stop right here. That's a pipe with a nut welded on it, and this stop with a washer welded on, or not a washer, but actually a piece of steel welded on it. That stops the up travel of the elevator. And then another stop. Get this wire out of the way. Up there we added, it's just a piece of aluminum angle iron that milled out to add milled out slots for the bolts and a socket and stuff. And it just attaches to some of the, uses some of the existing seatbelt bracket bolts to stop the belt crank on the down travel, which would be pitching forward and pitching down, and then this one is for pitching up. But anyhow, making progress there. That's all hooked up, ready to go. Cotter pins and everything. The rudders, the only thing left on the rudder is putting the safety wire on the turnbuckles. We're getting, we'll get that done once we're sure the rudder is rigged how we want it. But pedals are fairly straight. Turned out pretty good as far as all that goes. I had to modify the brackets for the springs. You can see that. Maybe. Had to modify the brackets for the springs. Had to take them out, drill more holes in them, and cut the one down a little bit to get the right tension on the springs, because the springs were kind of flopping around there. So I have to hook the seatbelt back up, but that mess of wiring is just hooking it up, making sure that the stick is wired correctly. I have one problem with the push to talk being the wrong button, so we're going to have to do some ringing out and figure that out. But tested the radio and everything turns on. Sticks are in, interior still needs to be put in, but making progress for sure. Yeah, it's about all I can think of right now. We're the engine mount. I'll show you a close-up on that. Since it was powder coated, it turned out really, really nice. Got it powder coated gloss black, so it's nice and it's got a good shine to it. The gussets turned out good, so that's kind of, I'm really happy with how that turned out. Really, like I say, it's nice and gloss black, shiny, super tough. We've hit it with tools and things, and it hasn't scratched at all. So big shout out to One Coat Powder Coating in Salem. They did an excellent job. If you want more information about them, if you live in this area, want more information about them, Salem, Ohio, I'll give you some information about it. I'll give them, send you a picture of their business card or whatever. So anyhow, I like it so far. My main concern right now is we might be a little too tall to fit with the seats. The seats are pretty thick. Might have to make different seats to be able to fit right. Just a little bit too tall. We'll see though. We'll see how it goes together and how it works. But making good progress. So thanks for watching, and keep tuned in. We'll get some more videos together once we get to low speed taxi and that kind of thing. Have a good one.